I need you to speak up, Diana.
네, 제 말씀이 들리실까요? 좀 더 크게 해야 될까요?
네, 계속 들립니다.
네.
다른 분들은 음소거 부탁드리겠습니다.
Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Diana Chung. I'm a business counselor with PACE, which is today's event organizer. Thank you so much for joining us and participating in our second annual procurement conference titled Doing Business with the City of Los Angeles. This conference will be designed with the senior Korean leaders who are expert in procurement to give good guidance and valuable resources to Korean businesses, allowing them to participate in the bid and the level of the playing field. We recognize that Korean businesses have a lot of potentials already to get contract, so please have already contract with the government agency. We hope this conference can be a good opportunity to find a good growth and expansion, especially during this difficult time in pandemic. Today's event is going to be held in English. And we will try our best to answer all the questions at the end. So please leave your question on the chat box, and it will be okay to leave your question in Korean. This event will also be recorded and is going to be posted on the Korean Council official website, and PACE will email today's material and link to the video clips after the event. So I will open up the slide right now and share with everyone. You guys can see my PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
We can make it full screen.
And today's agenda will follow this order. I will start with the welcome remarks from the organizer, which is the consulate office and PACE. I will talk briefly about PACE Technical Assistance Program, then open up the panel discussion after the introducing the amazing panel speaker, senior Korean city leaders who are expert in procurement in the city of Los Angeles. And we have special guests today for this second annual procurement conference. Her name is Kitty Pai, a procurement supervisor, supply chain service division at Department of General Services, the city of Los Angeles. We will stick to this schedule, so please be prompt. To begin, we are pleased to have Kyungjae Park, Consul General of the Republic of Korea in Los Angeles, to deliver this opening remark. 총련사님, 이번 행사를 할 수 있게 주최해 주셔서 감사드립니다. 오늘 행사를 위해 환영사 부탁드리겠습니다.
예, 고맙습니다. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for joining today's seminar on procurement business with the City of Los Angeles. I deeply appreciate CEO Kelly Doi and Councilor Diana Chung from PACE who prepared today's seminar. I also appreciate LA City Assistant Director Hana Che and other speakers for their presentation for the Korean community as administrators of government procurement. Today's seminar is very special event in which many Korean American experts have participated who have been working as managers or administrators in various procurement fields of LA City and LAF corporations. I believe this seminar will serve to answer your questions in regards to various aspects of procurement industry. I hope you will build
Open
a
up the full screen.
well-established network
No, I
with the
can't.
Korean American
Two different screens.
procurement associates through this opportunity. Thank you. 고맙습니다. 여기 오늘 조달 세미나에 약 250명의 비즈니스 관계분들이 등록하신 것으로 알고 있는데 LAC와 관련해서 조달 절차, 조달 포털 활용 방법, 수도 전략국과의 그 조달 계약 프로세스, LA 시장실의 조달 사업 지원 사업, LA 공항 내에 매장 입점 및 조달 기회 등에 대해서 이제 직접 담당자들이 나오셔가지고 자세히 설명을 할 예정으로 듣고 있습니다. 오늘 그 강사님들께 감사를 드리고 이번에 참여하신 기업분들께서도 네트워크를 잘 구축하셔가지고 앞으로 많이 활용하시기를 바랍니다. 고맙습니다.
네, 총영사님 환영사 감사드립니다. Thank you, Consul General, for the supportive message to participants today. And following along, we have Carrie Doi, CEO of PACE, to deliver opening remarks as an organizing company for this event.
Thank you, Diana. It is our honor to work with the Honorable Consul General in putting together this seminar. I want to say that the Consul General has been the most proactive that we know of in the Consular Corps of Los Angeles in helping the city progress in its way to economic survival. And so thank you very much. It's our honor. And to all of the Korean business owners that are attending the seminar, we want to tell you that everyone, it's not only PACE and the Consul General, but also the mayor, the Board of Supervisors, and all of our elected officials that want to see you succeed. We really do want to see you succeed because nobody knows what the new normal is going to be after this pandemic situation is over. But what we do know is that the more successful you are, the more jobs you will create, and the more it will contribute to the new economy. And so please take advantage of all of the experts that are going to be providing their presentations today. And in addition to that, PACE is willing to put our money where our mouth is, and that we have a tremendous amount of resources available to be able to assist you in your capital needs, as well as our technical assistance in helping you get through the process. And so please take notes. And as Diana mentioned, we will be available for questions throughout the seminar, as well as after. So thank you very much and welcome. And once again, I want to thank the Consul General once again for being so proactive. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie, for the wonderful remarks. Before we go into the panel discussion, I would like to talk about the PACE Technical Assistance Program and how it can be great resources to the small businesses. PACE, Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, is a community organization that promotes the growth and economic expansion of diverse Los Angeles community throughout the infusion of capital and provision of businesses, consultation services, and financial literacy training. We contract with the City of Los Angeles and operate 2 of their 9 business sources centers, Central West and Mid City, to provide a technical assistance to provide businesses. We are also supported by the U.S. Small Business Administration Office and operate a small business PACE Women Business Center. We offer many workshops and training for entrepreneurs, one-on-one business counseling to help you tackle your various business challenges, and also have a lending program for your business financial needs. For new business opportunity, we offer procurement services to help you expand to your other business opportunities. We provide procurement training with counseling, help our clients get certified and bid on the contract. So therefore, if you need help in business, please feel free to reach out to us. All of these services are free. Do not hesitate to reach out. Before we start the panel discussion, I would like to introduce Hannah Choi here at the stage. She's our moderator for today's event. May 7th, which is last week Friday, was her last day of 35 years serving the community as an assistant director, Bureau of Contract Administration, Department of Public Works, City of Los Angeles. I would like to giving her big congratulations on her retirement. Thank you, Hannah, for support and help to gather a wide range of Korean leaders from all areas for Korean businesses.
Thank you, Diana. On behalf of Mayor Garcetti, welcome to City Hall. This is a virtual City Hall for all of you, and I'm so glad you took the time to join us, and I hope you'll stay for a dynamic meeting today, and you'll learn a lot about how to do business with the City of LA. Again, my name is Hannah Choi, and I've been working with the City of LA for 34.5 years. I can't believe all those years went by so quickly. And most recently, I was serving as the Assistant Director of the Bureau of Contract Administration, which is one of the bureaus in the great Department of Public Works in the city. I supervised over 100 personnel involved in the work of assuring equity and opportunity for the city's diverse workforce and businesses. The two divisions that I oversaw are very important to all you businesses. The Office of Wage Standards, you might remember, raised the wage. The enforcement of minimum wage came to our office about 5 years ago. And we really worked hard to not only take care of the employees, but as businesses as well, because you cannot have employees without businesses. And so we saw the importance of being responsive and helping both the employees and businesses in the implementation and enforcement of minimum wage. And the other office that's very, very important to contracting is the Office of Contract Compliance. There, we enforce prevailing wages. Those of you who are contractors, construction contractors, are pretty familiar with the enforcement of prevailing wages on government projects. And so that is what we enforced citywide. We also enforce project labor agreements and various, 13 or so city ordinances related to contracting, outreach to minority women, small local businesses, as well as certifications. There's many certifications that our office, the Bureau of Contract Administration, oversees in the Office of Contract Compliance, and you'll hear about some of them today. So, I realize this event is happening after I retired, but it was so important for me to share all my friends with you who are in the procurement arena, who are Korean American, and who do such a fantastic job. They work so hard to bring opportunities to all of you. So I wanted to be here. And of course, Diana, when she asked, you can't resist. And so I'm really happy to be here to share all this information. Now, as you remember, as you listen, remember that City Hall is not just a building. It's not just, those government employees. It's just people like you and me, just ordinary people, moms and dads, daughters and sons, people who are here to serve the city, to take care of, various needs around the city, whether it's, police and fire, or the libraries, the zoo. We're here to serve the city. So I hope after this presentation, you'll see city government in a different light, realize that we're just ordinary people that you can approach, that you can ask. You need to ask. We need to work together as businesses, as city government, as nonprofit organizations like PACE, and of course, the Korean consulate, who cared enough of its citizens, of its, Korean businesses to pursue this event for all of you. And so I hope you, if anything, you'll take away the fact that we are here for you. And so I'm really excited to start off with a video today about the basics of contracting in the city. This video is the first of a series of videos created to literally light the way for those who want to do business with the city of LA. So Diana, at this time, let's show our great attendees the video.
Hello, and thank you for your interest in doing business with the City of Los Angeles. Every year, LA awards billions of dollars in contracts to meet operational needs and implement capital projects. Contracts are awarded in accordance with the LA City Charter and Administrative Code, state and federal requirements, and each department's procurement policies. The Lighting the Way series of videos offers knowledge and guidance on how to do business with the City of Los Angeles, including the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, Port of Los Angeles, and Los Angeles World Airports. This video covers bidding basics. We will cover the two most common competitive solicitation methods, how the city awards a contract, fundamental bidding requirements, and where to find LA City contracting opportunities. How does the City of LA buy goods and services? A cornerstone of doing business with LA is the concept of a level playing field. All bids are bound by common standards easily available to the public. The resulting fairness and transparency are why competitive bidding is the primary method for awarding contracts. How does the competitive bidding process work? Every contract awarded begins with a need. Each city department determines their need for goods or services and submits a requisition for procurement. This results in an advertised solicitation on Los Angeles Business Assistance Virtual Network, or BAVN for short. Interested vendors registered on BAVN bid on the solicitation within a predetermined time frame. These are then evaluated and a contract is awarded to the successful bidder. The most common solicitation methods used by the city are known as Invitation for Bid, or IFB, and Request for Proposal, or RFP. Both are competitive solicitation methods, but there are some differences you need to be aware of. An invitation for bid is typically used for construction projects, materials, equipment, rentals, and non-professional services. It is sometimes referred to as a low or sealed bid because the evaluation is based on the lowest price. No exceptions are allowed, so bids must conform to all material terms, conditions, and specifications of the IFB. Award goes to the lowest priced responsive and responsible bidder. Request for Proposals, or RFP, is the method used to obtain professional, expert, technical, or other special or complex services, including design-build services, for which low bids are not practical. RFPs have a predetermined evaluation criterion involving technical, management, and cost factors. Exceptions may be allowed with negotiations taking place during the evaluation process. Contracts are awarded to the highest scoring responsible vendor whose proposal is the most advantageous to the city, based on the stated selection and evaluation criteria. Another very important aspect of the competitive bidding process are the requirements of responsiveness and responsibility. No matter the method of solicitation or amount of competition, the City of Los Angeles always seeks to award to responsible vendors who submit responsive bids. A responsible vendor is one who has the technical capability, financial stability, and integrity to satisfactorily fulfill the contract requirements. A responsive bid is one which substantially conforms to the requirements, specifications, terms and conditions, contract compliance, and insurance requirements of the bid. Vendors must also satisfy all mandatory submissions as instructed in the solicitation to be deemed responsive and eligible for award of the contract. These requirements include all mandatory bidding forms completed, signed, and submitted with the bid or proposal. A socio-economic program component requiring vendors to make an outreach effort to subcontract part of the work to small, disabled veteran, minority, or women-owned business enterprises, along with submittal of all relevant documents. Submitting on time by the required due date and in order to be considered for awarding of the contract. There may be other requirements specified in each bid, so be sure to read the solicitation carefully. To take advantage of the contracting opportunities offered by the City of LA, vendors must self-register on www.labavn.org. You can view the latest solicitations and create a unique user profile to be notified automatically of new opportunities. You can get your business ready by registering at labavn.org and making sure your license requirements and certifications are current. Certifications must be recognized by the City of LA and verified on your LABAVN profile. Also, be sure to get your LA Business Tax Registration Certificate in order by visiting finance.lacity.org. For more information on registering, contact LABAVN Technical Support at ita.bavn@lacity.org. For information on certification, please visit bca.lacity.org/certification. The City of Los Angeles, including the Department of Public Works, Department of Water and Power, Port of Los Angeles, and LA World Airports, are committed to diversity in contracting and strongly encourage the participation of all businesses in the performance of its contracts, including but not limited to small businesses, disabled veteran, women, local business enterprise, and minority-owned business enterprises. This includes disadvantaged, emerging, and lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender business enterprises and all other business enterprises. We wish you luck and success as you take your first steps into the exciting, rewarding, and impactful world of contracting with the City of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana. Wow, wasn't that a great video? It was a very quick snapshot of how contracting works in the city. And kudos to Karen Sun at DWP who put that together. She's actually a panelist today, so you'll be hearing from her shortly. As you were listening, did you all pick up on the distinction between personal services, or what we call professional services, construction, and commodities? When you start working with the city, you have to make sure you understand that there are three distinct avenues of entering into a contract with the City of Los Angeles. So it's like, if you're going to build a store, what would you start with first? You would probably go see an architect maybe to design the dream store of your choice. And so going to see an architect and entering into a contract with an architect is what the city would call a professional or personal services contract. That could be, janitorial services, transportation services, engineering, consulting services, public relations, media. All these are considered personal or professional services. And then once you have the perfect design, you would then enter into a contract with a construction contractor to build your dream store. And so the second category is construction. And construction is mainly handled in council control departments by the Department of Public Works and the Bureau of Engineering. The 3 proprietary departments, the port, the airport, and DWP, they all do their own construction as well. And I failed to mention for professional and personal services contracts, that's pretty much, it's not centralized. So you would have to go to every department to find out. And again, you're going to hear this many, many times. You'll find all those opportunities on the LA BAVN. That's our marketplace. That's where in Korean, it would be our Namdaemun Sijang, or, you know, at the central market where everything happens. That's our BAVN. And so, so that's why, you know, you can't possibly go to every department to find out what's going on. So that's why everything is held in BAVN. And then finally, once you have the design, once you build the dream store, then you purchase your furniture and all the, you know, anything else that you need, your computer or whatever. If it's a restaurant equipment, these are called commodities in the city. So thankfully, commodities is centralized in the Department of General Services. And when, you know, Diana did a data search on what kind of businesses were attending this event, we realized there were quite a number of manufacturers and suppliers. And so we asked Kitty Pei at the Department of General Services to join us. It was a last minute yesterday. I called up GSD and said, I think we need your help. And so they were so gracious in sending Kitty to join us, and she'll be, so stay, don't leave, because you're going to want to hear from Kitty as well. And we'll have her as part of our Q&A session toward the end, so she can share with us how to sell goods to the city of LA. All right, so let's get going with our panel. When Diana first reached out to me to do a webinar on how to do business with the city, I thought, oh, just me talking would be so boring. I think it would be so much more interesting if I called up all my friends throughout the city, Korean Americans who are involved in the procurement arena. And so I reached out, and they were so gracious. They realized I was doing this as kind of like a retirement, after retirement event. And they were so gracious in agreeing to do this event for all of you. And so just to go over all our panels members, we have Andrew Choi with the Chief Procurement Office, who'll be talking about BAVN, and Irene Ryu with the Controller's Office, Karen Sun with DWP, Lisa Kim with LAWA, and Layla Lee with the Mayor's Office. And as I mentioned, we have a special guest, Kitty Pei from the Department of General Services. You are all in for a treat. So let me start with Andrew Choi, who will be sharing with us some amazing developments in our LA BAVN system. And Andrew is a Torrance native, and he has only worked with the city for 7 years, but boy, does he know how procurement works in the city. Although fairly new, he was hand-selected to be part of the Chief Procurement Office team due to his successful implementation of the Neighborhood Council financial system. And I had the pleasure of working with him, and what a smart, innovative young man he is. And I just, love the influx of our millennials into the city workforce, who are really making things better, making systems better, so that your lives will be enriched and things will be easier for people who live in the city, who work in the city, who have businesses in the city. And so they have your interests in their heart. So you'll hear all about the exciting changes that will be coming to BAVN. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Pace, for inviting me here to be able to present a little bit. First of all, on behalf of my boss, Shannon Hoppe, as the Chief Procurement Officer, Hannah, you're going to be extremely missed. We already miss you. It's only been a week, but we're grateful that you're continuing to put in such effort to ensure that all communities are participating in the procurement process, ensuring that opportunities are made and shared available to all Angelinos throughout the city. Again, hello everyone, my name is Andrew Choi. I am a project manager for the Chief Procurement Officer in the Mayor's Office of Budget and Innovation. My role is to advise and implement technology and policies that impact citywide procurement applications. So some of the things that you'll be hearing from me today is BABIN, that's the Los Angeles Business Assistant Virtual Network. It's, as Hannah was saying, it's where we house a lot of our procurement opportunities. So whenever a department in the city, including proprietary departments, wants to inform the public of a procurement opportunity, an opportunity to contract, or a department's desire to buy something, it'll be housed in this website and all the information will be there. So I'm going to share with you that in a little bit. Also, what I will be going into today is the changes that the city will be making in the short term and the long term. We have a few initiatives that will be taking place in the this coming year and this upcoming few years that will make changes so that your experience with working with the city, your experience with finding opportunities will be more centralized and more effective. So all opportunities, not just city opportunities, will be available to you. So before we go into the future of procurement, I'm going to share a little bit about BABIN. So I'm going to just share my screen for a moment. If I could get permission to share my screen, please. Thank you. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the BABIN website. This is the city's, as Hannah was saying, the centralized portal where we house all of our procurement opportunities, where you're going to be able to find details on the jobs available. A lot of our panelists today will be saying, well, if you go on BABIN, you can find our opportunities. This is exactly the website. So again, like the video said, it's labavn.org. It will port you into this page. So what will you find on this page? Basically, if you scroll down on the first page, you're going to see a lot of things, like an upcoming event that we're having on the 19th with Accessing LA, which is a matchmaking opportunity. So if you are a smaller company looking to participate in the procurement process and match with a larger company, this is a great virtual event to participate in. If you would like to see the video again, it's also housed in our website, so you'll be able to click through to see the video, and also our most upcoming and most recent procurement opportunities. Right now, it shows you top 10 most recently posted. So even as we are speaking, there are opportunities that are being posted right now. So you will see that if you're looking for something specific, though, what you can do is narrow the searches down. So our website is broken down into 3 major sections: a homepage, which kind of gives you an overview and upcoming events; a search filter, a search feature, so you can look into detailed opportunities; and also a support page. If you have any questions, if you need assistance in registering, how to log in and becoming a registered member of BABIN, creating a profile so you receive notifications. All of these manuals and guides are available on our website, labavn.org. So at the end of this panel, end of this series, I recommend everyone get onto labavn.org and register. And even if you don't think that you're an industry that the city would traditionally procure in, we recommend you register as well, because there is a special surprise. Some of the changes that we're making will make a direct impact to industries that the city traditionally would not procure in, but opportunities will be there shortly. So first of all, let's talk about looking up opportunities. So under search, what you're able to do is you're going to see all these fields. You don't need to fill all of it out. You just need to pick a couple specific things that will be applicable to you. So as Hannah was mentioning, the 3 types of industries: commodities, construction, personal services. It's available to filter further on this side. If you want to look up specific departments, let's say a department that procures heavily is Department of Water Power. Once you filter out what industry or what department or what category you're looking into, you can click search opportunity, and the website will then pull the opportunity out for you, where if you click on it, these are closed. Let's go for open opportunity. Excuse me. Let's just pick water and power again. Status are open. Search opportunities. You're going to see a list of all open opportunities, where if you click on this information, you'll get detailed information on the opportunity, the scope of work, and how to look at the documents. Again, you have to be a registered user of Babin to be able to look at the documentation and other instructions on where to go, where to submit your bids, and all these other parts of the solicitation. Again, information's only available if you register the system. It's free. There's no cost to you. It is just a way of you getting information on babin.org. During the Q&A, if you have any questions to the system itself, I'm happy to be able to answer at that time. But I have the exciting and the pleasure of being able to share something different. So I'm done sharing. So the city of Los Angeles and Mayor Garcetti and the council has decided to actually change the way the city will be managing its procurement systems and procurement strategies. You're going to notice that the city, you're going to hear a lot about something called the marketplace, the regional marketplace. The city of Los Angeles are starting to make changes to our technology so that you're able to see opportunities beyond the city. The slideshow, please. So the future of procurement is going to be the way technology is going to be utilized, how technology is going to be able to centralize, and how technology is going to be able to connect you to the opportunities that be most suited to what you're looking for. Next slide. This past spring, what we've done is we've actually transitioned our entire system. We used an older technology when Babin was first established under a previous mayor administration. And in this mayor's administration, it was a priority so that we had a technology, a 21st century technology that is able to support the operations of businesses today, a modern system that is flexible, that is maneuverable, that is available to be able to make changes as our dynamic economy changes. And so this past spring, what we've done is we've transitioned away from our old technology to a new technology. But lababin.org was not changed, meaning if you're familiar with lababin.org, you are not being impacted for the time being until the end of this summer. At the end of this summer, the city of Los Angeles will be transitioning away from the traditional sense of, oh, we're just going to create a single bulletin board for just city procurement. We're going to be moving over to a regional platform. What the regional platform is going to do is that not only is it going to be a marketplace for city opportunities, but we're opening it up. We are going to open it up for private sector opportunities. We're going to open it up so that the big games, the Olympic Games, the World Cups, as they come into the city, that they're going to be housed into the system. It's being opened up so that other industries, other governments are able to also procure. So being on babin.org means not only you be given information on city procurement, but procurement from the entire region as a whole. And finally, from our perspective, something that's very important, in spring 2022, all the information we'll be gathering from the procurement from the city, the regional procurement from the private sector industries, what will be happening is we'll be being able to provide metrics and forecasting so that you can anticipate what the economy will look like, what you can anticipate how your businesses should grow and structure to match in line with procurement opportunities. Because what's more important than running your business well is knowing what's coming next. You know how we say knowledge is power? Knowing what is next is going to help you scale so that you're able to match to become a responsible bidder. Something that the city evaluates for is longevity. Can your business maintain over the course of its entire contract? Is the contract 1 year, 3 years? Is it a multi-year contract with multiple options to extend? We, the city, need to believe that your businesses need to be able to withstand economic situations like what just recently happened with COVID, right? We saw that the economy imploded, businesses stopped functioning. We need to know that your business can withstand that. And the best way to do that is to understand what's upcoming in the city, to know that the city will be procuring $10 million in legal services, $20 million in this, $30 million in that, and to be able to gear yourself up to be able to match with that as well. Next slide. So some of the changes that we've made is that the front end did not change, but everything in the back end changed. We've made a more centralized database. So we've made a technology that is meant for building out to a regional marketplace. So again, in the spring, you're going to say, well, what's changed? Well, there's not much for that. You will see that change. It's happened all in the background. But something that we do have now is if you ask for information, so if you email me, and I'll share my team's email at the end of this slideshow. If you email me asking for metrics or information, I'll be able to start providing you. Previously, we haven't been able to do that on a citywide level before. Next slide. Some of the changes that we'll be making come the summer of 2021. Next slide, please. The changes that we'll be making in summer 2021. So just a kind of a preview of the platform and some of the functions that you'll be allowed to do. Next slide, please. Okay, so some of the things that you're going to see is that this marketplace is going to be structured on you. So when we say it's going to be a regional platform, it's going to house three major things. It's going to house city opportunities, non-city but government opportunities, and private sector opportunities. That private sector opportunities is the reason why we really want you to participate in this, even if you're, say, a non-traditional government opportunity provider. Let's say you're a restaurant, you're a small business, you own a small restaurant. Well, the city doesn't hire too many restaurants. The city doesn't hire too many caterers. So why would I register? Well, when we move into this new platform, we're going to have companies that are in sports and entertainment. That's not related to the city. We'll have companies that are in large-scale event management. They're going to want white glove catering services. They may want food trucks for their events. These opportunities will be made available that you don't see. The city currently procures approximately $4.5 billion in procurement opportunities. The city offers $4.5 billion in opportunities as a whole annually. The region, we estimate, is approximately $33 billion. And that's not including the $1.2 billion that President Biden just infused into the city for infrastructure and infrastructure and development and ensuring that our economy flourishes. We're talking about financial sector. We're talking about sports and entertainment. We're talking about construction that's non-city related. The largest sector in Los Angeles is construction, right? Every home that gets built, every skyrise that's getting built. These are opportunities for you to be able to, these are opportunities that you might not be ingrained with, right? They said the only way you know of opportunities is if you know somebody. Well, that's what we're creating. We're creating a system where you know somebody, you know the technology, you will be able to now ingrate in. So my time's coming up. Again, if anything, if you take away anything from today, my recommendation is go to labavn.org, labavn.org, and register and fill it out. This is my team's email address. If you have any questions, if you need support, if you need information, please send an email to us. Just even anything to say, can you give me the email, the website address again? If I haven't repeated it enough, happy to share that with you. Send me an email and we will get back to you. Again, Hannah, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting the CPO and this team, our team, to participate in such a special event. And I'd be happy to answer any questions during the Q&A.
Wow, Andrew, thank you so much. I want everybody out there attending this event to be a big supporter of the Chief Procurement Office. They're fairly new and they have so much work to do. And so I hope you'll all become big fans of the CPO office as I am. I'm still going to continue to support them even though I have retired, because I see the value of a centralized procurement office for the city and to lead efforts like this in improving the Bobbin system, and so many more things to come. And so thank you, Andrew. We love you, and you did a wonderful job informing all of us. And if you haven't heard it, register on LABAVN. That's the best message we can give you today. Next, we have Irene Rue. Irene has been with the city for 14 years. I can't believe she's been with the city that long. I actually hired her into the city 14 years ago, and she stayed with us for about 6 years, and then she promoted and went to LAWA to work there for about 6 years. And then she worked at DWP for about 6 months, and then promoted finally to the controller's office not too long ago. Just last year. And so she's actually, just amazing lady who immigrated actually to this country after working for LG in Korea. And so English is her second language, but I don't know anybody who has worked harder to improve her communication skills. I remember one time I had her do a board presentation, and she actually went to a speech coach to improve her enunciation, to make a better presentation. I don't know any city employee who goes, that deeply to improve themselves. And so Irene is like a sister to me, and I'm so happy to have her featured today. Welcome, Irene.
Thank you, Hannah. It's my honor to be here. My name is Irene, and I'm a senior management analyst at the Controller's Office. Today, I talk about contracting opportunity at the Controller's Office. Before I begin, let me briefly share what the Controller's Office does. The City Controller is one of the 3 offices elected by popular vote, along with the mayor and city attorney. The Controller is the auditor and general accountant of the city. We are the watchdog of the taxpayer. We make sure public dollars are spent efficiently and effectively. Our office has 3 major divisions: audit services, accounting operations, and financial reporting. Mandated by city charter, our office conducts performance audit of all departments, manage the city's payroll and disbursement, and prepare reports on city finance. The current city controller is Juan Galperin. He was first elected in 2013 and re-elected in 2017. Next slide, please. Since we are required to conduct performance audit for all city department and city program, we need experienced independent auditor and subject matter experts. As a result, our office has a contracting opportunity audit assistance. Request for qualification for audit, review, consulting, and related services, and request for proposal for management audit of our pension system, and industrial, economic, and administrative survey for proprietary departments. Next slide, please. For RFQ for audit services, our office contracts with around 20 firms on a needed basis. This master contract is to provide audit and management consulting. The contractor must have the qualification necessary to provide audit or consulting services. For instance, the contractor should be able to analyze and interpret data and produce well-written reports for any audit. This master contract is established from the firm responding to RFQ. It's a 3-year contract term. One thing to remember is this master contract is based on time and material basis and does not carry any monetary value. Next page. How does it work? The master contract is awarded to multiple firms. This master contract contains the general term and conditions. No specific work or payment is guaranteed. It only lays out the process of issuing task order. The control decides on project, and then project spec and details are formulated. Task order solicitation is prepared, and all contractors on the list will be invited to submit their proposal. For each task order solicitation, project will be awarded to the contractor with the best proposal. This task order will stipulate the scope of work, fees, costs, and terms. Next page. How many projects during the term? On average, there can be 2 to 3 major and 2 to 4 minor projects a year. Other departments may use this master contract once it's approved by the city controller. The screenshot on the right shows all the audit reports published by the controller's office. You'll find this information from the controller's website. Next slide, please. Besides audit assistance, the controller's office has RFP opportunity for management audit of pension system and IA for proprietary department. These audits are mandated by the charter. Currently, there are 2 open RFP due in May for management audit for the pension system and IA for the airport. We invite all qualified companies to submit your proposal. This will conclude my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Irene. We're just so grateful you could walk us through the things that are happening and opportunities at the controller's office. Next, we have Karen Sun. Karen Sun manages LADWP's Office of Small Business and Supply Relations and is responsible for administering programs in support of LADWP supplier diversity and equity objectives in contracting. She also manages contract compliance, vendor outreach efforts and events, and procurement quality assurance. She has over 20 years with the LADWP, but my relationship with Karen goes back 25 years.
You're giving away my age.
Back to when we were just young moms, and we were just starting out our city career. And so we have been friends ever since. And I'm so excited to present Karen to all of you. She is amazing. And like I said, she's the one who put together that video you saw earlier. So Karen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hannah. Once again, I'm Karen Sun, or Karen Son, as they say in Korean. 안녕하세요. No relation to Consul Sun, who's also here with us today. At least I don't think we're related. What a special event this is. So I'm so happy to be here to share information about contracting with LADWP. So let's go ahead and get started. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about LADWP. We are a proprietary department of the City of Los Angeles. That means while we're still one of the many city departments, we do not rely on taxpayer funding. Rather, we generate our own revenue from the sale of water and electricity. So this allows LADWP to operate a little more independently, but we're still governed by the same city charter and the admin code as the rest of the city. So a lot of information that I'll be sharing about our contracting process will generally also apply to the rest of the city. Okay, so we are the largest municipally owned water and power utility in the nation. We serve 4 million residents and businesses in Los Angeles, and we award about $1 billion, at least $1 billion in contracts for goods and services annually. And of that $1 billion, we've spent, I think, almost about $500 million on small businesses or local businesses. Next slide, please. Okay, so what kind of stuff does LADWP buy? We supply water and we supply electricity. We don't bid that stuff out. That comes with different kind of agreements, but we do buy things like materials and equipment, things like cable, pipes, valves, asphalt. We rent heavy equipment, forklifts, safety equipment, computer equipment, electrical supplies, furniture, and all the office supplies that we need. We do public works and construction projects. We contract out for construction of new facilities, groundwater remediation. We do pile drilling, trench shoring, well drilling, trunk line construction, a lot of heavy civil pipeline and infrastructure construction work. The professional services, some of the things that we contract out frequently for is engineering, especially specialized engineering, consulting related to water systems, regulatory compliance, environmental is always a big one, and occasionally like IT on occasion when we need it for some specialized things. So, and then the miscellaneous general services type stuff, we do things, I've seen solicitations for translation services for our customer service department, security services for our outlying facilities, bill collection, of safety, training, employee assistance, and sometimes some limited medical assistance because we have our own medical section, especially during this time of COVID. Okay, next slide, please. So the video talked a little bit about the procurement principles. LADWP's procurement principles rely on integrity, fairness, and transparency. We want to promote competition. We have to comply with all applicable governance laws and regulations. So because of those three principles, the city issues contracts through the competitive bidding methods. This is the way we level the playing field so that opportunities are fair and equitable to all. It's not about who's your favorite or who do you know, but that's the reason we have to do everything competitively bid. And in addition to that, we want to provide equitable economic development opportunities for all businesses, including small businesses, minority and women-owned businesses. And to echo what Mr. Kerry Doy said earlier, we want you to succeed as a small business because it's so important to the local economy. We get that many of our contracts are too big for small businesses to handle, so we make sure that we share the wealth. We have a special program that helps ensure small and local businesses participate in our contract so that they are not included. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the contract process overview simplified from what you can expect from each phase from a vendor perspective. Okay, the pre-solicitation phase, which is the first one, is where you need to get yourself poised and ready so that when a contracting opportunity comes up, you're ready to bid on it. Okay, so make sure, of course, register on BAB, and you're going to get notifications if it's something that's related to your NAICS code. Make sure you have all your licenses and certificates ready. Just be prepped and ready because when the solicitation comes out on the next phase, the solicitation phase, this is the window period where we advertise the contracting opportunity and the time in which you can submit the bid before the deadline. This is also the time during which you can get more information about the bid, ask questions about the specific opportunity. This is what is open. Once this phase closes, that's it. You can't ask any more questions or anything else. So once it closes, that's when you're supposed to submit the bid. Prior to that, we go to the award phase. We'll evaluate the bids on our side and notify the successful bidder, and a contract will be executed during the award phase. So once the solicitation phase closes, there isn't very much as a vendor you need to do except maybe await some kind of notice. They might contact you for further compliance documents if you're in the running. They might ask for additional more, but for the most part, you know, your parts are pretty much done in the first two phases. And then post-award, when you finally get your contract executed, that's when you will deliver your goods and services and, you know, continue to comply with all the requirements of the contract. As we are a government entity, like in every phase, you can usually expect some paperwork, just so that you know ahead of time. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. Now that you got a basic understanding of what we buy and how we buy it, I want to share some practical tips to help your chances of success. And I'm giving this to you as from the perspective of someone on the inside and what kind of things that I think would be really helpful and the mistakes that I see people make, okay? So really understand LADWP's bidding process and get familiar with mandatory compliance documents. Like I said, we are a government entity. There's a lot of paperwork, and although it may seem daunting, it's something that you can still do. It's not that complicated. It just got a lot of steps. So really understand in detail the bidding process and what's required, know how things work and what you can expect. That will make the journey a lot smoother. And the window of opportunity for most bids isn't very long. With the bids closing, sometimes the bids are only open 2 weeks, so you don't want to waste any time fumbling over how to navigate the process. You should know how to already navigate the process, and you want to spend your time on preparing your submittals. To kind of get a better understanding, I really recommend you register on Bavin early. And even if it's something you're not going to bid on, if there's something similar that you're interested in, download that bid opportunity, read through it so you can see, because most of the opportunities are going to look pretty similar, at least all the compliance and all the other requirements, except for maybe, the specific things required for your product or your service. So that you can see, these are the forms they're going to ask me to sign. This is the next step. These are the deadlines. This is how they evaluate. A lot of information is in the bid specification. So I would really recommend that even if you're not ready, you're not going to bid on something, there's no penalty for downloading something that's out there similar to what you might be interested in, so you can get a sneak preview of next time when something that is specific to you comes out. Second bullet, stay reputable and maintain business integrity. LADWP, like the rest of the city, is very risk averse. We will look at your past performance and the integrity of your business. So if you've got a poor record, it's likely to hurt your chances of winning any work. Okay, I mean, we're equitable, we're not that equitable. So, there is a contractor responsibility ordinance in the city, which requires us to check out basically, it's like a background check on your firm, to make sure that, you're not getting sued left and right, or you're not operating without integrity. Next tip is only bid on what you can deliver. Don't promise more than what you can do. Make sure you have the resources and knowledge to do what you say you will do. Messing up will really hurt your chances if you can't deliver what you say you can. So sometimes people think, well, I'll just cut the price so I can get my foot in the door. But, it's not financially sustainable. It takes the city a long time to pay. You don't want your business to go under, and you want to be able to deliver everything that you say, while, staying solvent. Know your competitors and what makes you better. And this is important because when you submit a proposal where it's not just based on low price, where the evaluation is not just a low bid type thing during an RFP, you want to talk about why we should choose you, what makes you better than somebody else. Because if everybody's offering the same service, talk about what makes you stand out and what's special about your firm. And lastly, don't bite off more than you can chew. This kind of goes back to only bidding what you can deliver, but when you're starting out, I suggest you start small so you get a feel for government contracting. Once you get the success out of the way, you can grow to bigger opportunities. This is just, especially when you're starting out, to make sure that you're familiar with the way everything works. Next slide, please. Okay, even more tips. So, like I said, when you're starting out, and sometimes the contracts are very large, it's sometimes better to start out, I would suggest, as a subcontractor. So what you should do is try to find a mentor or network heavily with prime contractors or people in the industry, maybe team up. If you know someone who's already done business with the city or DWP, they can kind of show you the way and maybe learn from somebody else. That could be very helpful before you go out on your own. When you're a subcontractor, one of the things that's a benefit to you is you're still working on a city project, and you can say you've worked on a city project, but it's the prime who takes all the risk. It's not you. You just do the work that the prime subs out to you, but it's the prime. So you don't have to take the risk, especially starting out, but hopefully you can learn from the prime contractor and how things work. You want to get certified and take advantage of programs that you may qualify for. Like I said, we know that a lot of our contracts are so big that you might think, oh, well, I'm never going to get a chance. That's $500 million. But, how could I compete with a little better prices over a bigger firm who can cut because of the scaling. But we have programs that may give you an advantage. One is a local business preference program. No one's really talked about it today, but it's something to look into. If you're certified by the City of Los Angeles Bureau of Contract Administration as a local business, you will actually get a bid preference when you submit your bid. Right now, I think it's 8% for being a local business preference, which is when we evaluate your bid, we'll evaluate it as if it was 8% lower than what you submitted, so that you'd have a little bit of an advantage over anybody else who's not a local business. And we at DWP have a small business participation program. So if you are SBE or Small Business Enterprise certified, we put actually minimum mandatory subcontracting participation requirements on all our large contracts for services and construction over $150,000. So whoever the prime contractor is, whether it's $100 million or project, if we set the minimum percentage, they have to bring in as part of their proposing team small businesses as part of their subcontracting team. Okay, and then lastly, let's see, learn from mistakes and failures. I know it takes a long time. You could bid and you might not win, but you know what? Instead of just giving up there, go back to the bid if you don't win it or you're not successful, and figure out what is it that you did wrong. I mean, was it a compliance thing? Or were you not in the right price range? And you really find out about who actually got the award. Study what is it about that proposal or that bid that you think made them stand out, or they did better than you, and maybe learn from that. So the next time the opportunity comes up, you can see where you fell short or where you can do better to improve. And of course, lastly, be patient and tenacious. The government's never fast. LADWP is never fast, and it takes a long time. But so if you really want to do business with LADWP, you have to be patient because it takes, everything. There's a lot of paperwork. It just, the timelines, we have a lot of governance, and you have to just keep at it. Next slide, please. Okay, last thing, bidding and contracting process can be long and daunting. I talked about that. Just so these are some of them, maybe gimmies, but I've seen people fail. To even big companies fail, like forgetting to follow instructions or leaving a document out. So understand the solicitation, follow the instructions exactly. We will give you instructions exactly how to do everything. You just have to follow it. Comply with all requirements and conditions of the contract. If we require licensing, bonding, if we say submit 11 documents, you need to submit and sign 11 documents, and understand the terms and conditions and make sure that you're agreeable to that. You should be thorough, be on time, never be late. If we say our bid's due at 2 p.m., 2:01 p.m., we'll get your bid thrown out. It doesn't matter if it's the cheapest, the best, or the most anything. If you do not comply with all the mandatory requirements, we cannot consider your bid for evaluation. And of course, deliver exactly what was promised, maintain your reputation. And just so you know, you can talk to Eileen about this, but payments can take a while. You may get the contract. You'll always get paid, but because the payment process is kind of long, it's not like once you submit an invoice, you're going to get a check right away. So you have to make sure you have enough in your finances to keep your business floating until you can get paid. Next slide, please. Okay, so we know on Bavin gives you everything that's current, but this is your crystal ball for LADWP. And our website, ladwp.com/supply line, we have a supply line publication. This changes every quarter. In the supply line publication, there is a section that tells you all the upcoming opportunities, what we anticipate going out to bid for. So this will help you. It's an 18-month look ahead. Prepare for, I see security services are going to be coming up in what we think is January. So you can be prepared, get ready to look forward to that, and get prepped so that you have a heads up. Next slide, please. And if you need help with the bidding process at LADWP, or you want to learn more about specific bids, we do have a vendor liaison center. You can email them at purchasebids@ladwp.com or give them a call. So That concludes my presentation. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share all this information today. And now I will turn it back over to the fabulous Hannah Choi.
Thank you, Karen. Wow, that was a chock full of information. I hope you go back and study what Karen had to share with us, and just to go over to help you kind of visualize what we're all teaching you today. You know, when we talk about bids, we're talking about mostly commodities. Remember the three different avenues of contracting? We have the personal services, construction, and commodities. Construction and commodities are mostly, there's some variations, but mostly it's low bid. Whoever they're responsive, they adhere to all the requirements, and their price is the lowest. And so it's pretty clear cut. You know, there's a certain day, and then the city government staff open it all up in the public to make sure there was no favoritism. So that's the bidding process. But when we're talking about professional services, remember, like architectural services and engineering services, janitorial, that's based on a number of factors. It could be your work experience, your financial stability, you know, a number of things are used, including the price, but it's not just price. You could have a higher proposal that costs more, but because of your experience, because of the previous work that you've done, the department may choose to select you over another company whose price might be lower. So I just wanted to remind all of you that there are different ways that we select the ultimate bidder or proposer in our government contracting. All right, thank you. And now we have Lisa, who is the manager over at LA World Airports, or we call LAX. Lisa has worked with the city of LA for almost 20 years. Her experience spans human resources, budget, and contract administration for several city departments. And having worked in various operating and administrative functions, she is familiar how the city works. Currently, she's with the LAWA's Procurement Services Division. Her division processes $300 million in spending on a variety of commodities and services at LAX and Van Nuys airports. But most importantly, Lisa became a brand new mom during the pandemic and has brought great joy to her mom, a retired city employee. So she's actually a second generation city employee. And I've known her mom for over 30 years. And so congratulations to the whole family, and welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you, Hannah, for that introduction. My name is Lisa Kim. As Hannah mentioned, I represent Los Angeles World Airports, LAWA for short, and Hannah just covered that. So let's dive right in. Thank you for having me. 안녕하세요. Okay, so next slide, please. Los Angeles World Airports is comprised of 3 airports, and you might wonder, why are we called Los Angeles World Airports? And this is the reason why. The one you are most familiar with is LAX. That's where you go, take a plane, you buy a ticket, you get on a plane, go somewhere and come back. And that is the only commercial airport. Van Nuys is a general aviation airport. It has other private and cargo business type flights, but it is also one of the busiest airports in the region. Palmdale is just land that we have out there, and that is why we are called Los Angeles World Airports. Next slide, please. So one thing in the previous slide that I didn't mention is that we were the 4th busiest airport in the world, and this was the statistics prior to COVID. And as you know, travel has come to a halt, but I assure you the spending will resume. the passengers will come back and business will be just as usual. So our currently it's about 300 million in spend of goods and equipment, materials and supplies, non-professional and professional services. To date, we've administered over 14 billion in RFPs, 14 billion. I just want you to wrap your head around that. We're like a mini city department. The capital projects that we are undergoing right now haven't been done for decades. So the LAX that you will see in a few years and culminating in the 2028 Olympics, LAX will look very different. We are building brand new terminals, runways. So just think about, just imagine all of the different opportunities that will be available at LAX. Next slide, please. Okay, so you've heard from both Karen and from Andrew. You're a small business. You're like, how do I get involved? How do I get a contract for these multi-million dollars? I don't think I can compete. Well, you'll hear it here again and again. I'm small. How do I get involved? Okay, LAWA understands that these projects are very large in scope, and it may be very challenging to get your foot in the door on the entire project. We're not expecting you to build these massive things that are going on with the experience that you might have. However, but if you're an expert in whatever business you have, you can become a subcontractor. We have subcontractor goals on projects. So here on the slide, I have one example. On a $5 million project, if we set a goal of 10% small business, 7% local business, 5% local and small, so you need to have both small and local, or you might be a former military and you might be a disabled veteran. They have special programs for that. We also set goals on that. So here you have laid out 10%, 7%, 5%, 3%. It adds up to 25% of this project is expected to go to subcontractors. How does that come out in dollars? $500,000, $350,000, $250,000, $150,000, for a total of $1.2 million has to go to subcontractors. This is done even before the award of contract. So if I'm a big prime contractor and LAWA has placed these goals on a huge contract, now I have to go look for subcontractors. So on some of these huge construction, multi-million, multi-billion dollar contracts, there are hundreds, maybe even up to thousands of subcontractors rotating in and out of projects at different times because we are working on huge projects. Now, I don't want to just, that's just one example, like a construction project is just one example, but we have on-call technology, we have real estate, we have so many different sectors just within LAWA that I can't even begin to explain all here, but this is just introductory for now. So I'm just letting you know that there are opportunities for all types of businesses. Okay, next slide, please. So what is a certification? If you're like, I'm a small business, yes, I'm a local business. These are the programs that LAWA acknowledges currently. You may have heard, oh, minority business, women-owned business. Currently, we do not use those programs, but these are the programs that we do acknowledge. Small business, small local business, disabled veterans business. Also, federal programs. So disadvantaged business enterprise, DBE. And we are not the only government entity that uses this. State of California, Caltrans uses this for some of their projects. And we also have a very unique subset called the Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And for short, I'm going to call it ACDBE. I know it's a mix-up of ABCDE. It's very confusing. If you're like, what is going on right now with all these letters? Just continue to follow me. I just want you to understand the concepts for now. You can always go back and look into the programs and it all kind of makes sense then. Just keep going on with what I will explain here. Okay, next slide, please. So this is what I want to go over. Disadvantaged and airport concessions, disadvantaged business enterprise, because this is unique to us as an airport. Next slide, please. The DBE, ACDBE certification, you can apply for on lacd.diversitysoftware.com. This is a new website that has been created in conjunction with Bureau of Contract Administration just recently in March. So we're going to flip forward just to show you the slide, what it looks like. Next slide, please. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now we're going to go back to the last slide. Okay, so the advantage for this is that if you are DBE or ACDBE certified, you not only are recognized here at LAX, you can be recognized state of California and other airports all throughout the country. So now your network has just grown from just, you know, one city, one state to 50 states. You could potentially grow your business from working at in Los Angeles to maybe several airports throughout the country eventually. So this is just another avenue to get your foot in the door. Okay, now what is an ACDBE? What is a concessions? So I'm going to make two distinctions here. So far, we've been talking about doing business with the city departments. So here at LAWA, we are the operator, we oversee the airport. You can do business with us. So if you are, say, you have an electrical business and you become a subcontractor for one of our projects, you'd be working on a LAWA project. But you could be doing business at LAX serving the traveling public. So that is a completely different type of business. You're not working for me, you're not working for LAWA, you are now working to serve the traveling public. And anything between that goes on between your house and the door of the airplane is considered a concessions. I mean, that's just kind of the easiest way for me to put it. So our common example for concessions that we can think about is when you pass security, you pick up a burger, you grab coffee, you sit down, maybe you grab a magazine, buy a neck pillow for your flight. Those are all retail food and beverage. And that's the easiest thing for us to think about. But there's really other things, massage services. A long time ago, you know, shoe shining. I mean, that's just kind of like the example of what could go on in an airport environment. Those are concessions, okay? But not only that, anything that has to do with parking lot management, all the buses that go in and out, all the shuttle services, that is all also considered concessions. And interestingly enough, there might be some room for you to be a service to one of those providers. So maybe the shuttle bus company needs to get their vehicles you know, oil change or body shop repair. And if that's your business and you're certified, you might be something or someone that they are looking for. So, you know, think big. If you want to do business with the airport, there's all sorts of categories and niche things that you could get involved with. All right, next slide, please. One more. What is this certification process like? This is very dry and I don't want to go into too much detail, but just generally speaking, if you wanted to know what this entails, first you apply and if it's DBE and ACDBE, you go into the diversity website that I just showed you, you submit your documents, you'll be required to submit your business, tax, financial records, and then there's a staffer who will review your paperwork. It'll be a desk audit. And then there will be a site visit just to verify that you're a legitimate business. Currently, due to COVID, it might be on the phone or virtual. And then the final determination of whether or not you're qualified for DBE or ACDB certification. Okay, all right, next, please. If you have any certification questions, you're welcome to reach out directly to our certification manager who works alongside with Bureau of Contract Administration. He actually works in that office in the Public Works building in downtown LA. His name is Sean Shimoda Kobayashi, and he has graciously allowed us to share his contact information so you can reach out to him. Okay. All right, and then next slide, please. LAWA is committed, you know, as I mentioned a few slides before, to the inclusion of small businesses, local businesses, diverse businesses. And there's a whole division dedicated to trying to connect the subcontractor to the huge prime contractors. And this division is called the Business, Jobs, and Social Responsibility Division. My contact there is Chamberlain Duru. And if you want to reach out for certain questions, he can help direct you here and there. But they also have a lot of targeted outreach, and they participate in conferences just like this. So he would be able to answer any of those questions for you if you want to get engaged more in and network with the players involved and the stakeholders. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so I'm going a little bit back and forth here because I just discussed concessions. If you're like, yes, I think I can be a concessionaire, I want to jump right in, who do I go to? These would be the contacts. They are our business relationship managers overseeing food and beverage and retail. So imagine concessions to be like a mall operator. When you step into Tom Bradley Terminal and you're seeing a restaurant here and a store there, duty free, they're not contracting directly with LAWA, as you might imagine. What we do is we have a 10-year concession operator agreement, which is, several operators are going on right now. One of them, for example, is Westfield Airports. So that name might be familiar. They're a mall operator in various malls in Los Angeles. So Westfield Airports is overseeing who they want to pick as vendors to be in this spot and that spot, and who they might think would be the best or representative at the airport, or how they want to, the image that they want to put out there. So if you are interested in concessions, you would not be working directly with LAWA. You would actually have to petition or apply with whoever the concession operator is and work with them. But we do have on staff who can help guide you to who those resources are. And Vimal and Melanie are the concessions managers in our commercial development group. Okay, next slide. We also have a workshop very similar to this, but we do a deeper dive into administrative requirements. We go over also kind of similar to what Karen just mentioned a few slides before at Water and Power about bids, proposals, the differences, what to look out for, and it's specific to us. So if you're interested, we have a monthly workshop every Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month. The next one is coming up on June 2nd. So please go to lawa.org and you can sign up there. But our website also has the slide presentations and any documents. So if you are short on time, you just want to look for something that's pertinent to you, you can do that. Or you can call any of the contacts that I've just mentioned for your specific questions, and everybody is there to guide you. During this workshop, you could also ask directly, because some of those presenters that I mentioned do show up every month to answer your questions directly. Okay. All right, next slide, please. What are my next steps? I know there's so much information going on from various people. These are my 3 key takeaways. If you don't remember anything else for now, swimming through all the details, sign up on Bavin, as you've heard before from all of the people before me. Sign up for Doing Business with LAWA if you're interested in LAWA specific details. And finally, get certified. Because once you get certified, now you're in the system. And if you figure out how to do business with one city department, then you're opening up your potential to do business with all city departments. So those are your next steps. Thank you very much for having me today. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you, Lisa. That was wonderful. My goodness. And I can't reiterate enough, of course, Bhavin, but secondly, getting certified. Most of you on this call in this event should be able to qualify for a myriad of certifications, especially the minority, small business. I'm sure you could all qualify. So we are going to show you a video that will give a brief description about the various certifications in the city of LA.
Hello, my name is Rolando Tuasa and I'm with the certification section from the Public Works Bureau of Contract Administration. I am going to give you an overview of the certification programs we have at the City of Los Angeles. First of all, the question you might have is, what do I get in having a certification? For one thing, having a certification legitimizes your standing as a small business owner. The city has all these certification programs to give small business owners the chance to work on city projects. Once you are certified, you will be in the list of certified firms in our Bureau website and also on a statewide website if you are certified in a federal program. These lists are where the prime or general contractors go to find deserving small businesses that can partner for their city bids. And these are our certification programs with the City of Los Angeles. First off is the Disadvantaged or Airport Concession Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certifications that are needed by projects with federal funding. For these programs, the majority owner must be a minority or woman and meet the limits for business income and personal net worth. Another program is the Minority and/or Women Business Enterprise Certification, which is a simplified version of the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program without the size limitations. The other group of certification requires the business to be located in the County of Los Angeles. These are the Local Business Enterprise Certification and the Small Local Business Enterprise Certification with a gross income limit of $3 million. We also have the Small Business Enterprise Proprietary Certification that is used by the city's proprietary departments, namely Department of Water and Power, the Los Angeles World Airport, and the Harbor Department. A business can be recognized for this certification if it is already certified with a number of other certifications that the city accepts. The city also has the recognition programs for Small Business Enterprise, Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, and the Emerging Business Enterprise. The business must be first certified with the California Department of General Services before the city can give these certifications. Last but not least is the Transitional Job Opportunity Program, the only program for nonprofit organizations. These organizations have proven programs that provide real-world training for the hard-to-employ or at-risk youths to give them the skills to get full-time employment. You might ask, which programs are right for me? Any business that meets the criteria and with the right credentials for any of these programs can certainly apply for these programs. Please go to our website at bca.lacity.org/certification to get more information on our programs. If you have any questions, you can send us an email to bca.certifications@lacity.org. Thank you for your interest in our programs and good luck on your quest to become a certified city contractor.
Great, thank you. That was a very quick overview of certifications, and I could go so much more in depth, but we are running out of time. So make sure you reach out to Rolando or any of the staff at my former colleagues at the Bureau of Contract Administration, and they will help you out. And you can always reach out to Diana at PACE. Our Bureau educated all the business source centers on certification opportunities. And so you can start with her and find out what you might qualify for. Like our presenters said, having that certification gives you a special like brand, right? These companies want to show that they are socially, you know, they're equity minded, they want to give opportunities to small businesses. So it's to their advantage for them to use certified firms because it shows that they care about our community. So make full use of it, take advantage of it. The paperwork might be a little daunting, but it's worth it. It's worth it to have that certification so that in the future, even when the Olympics comes up, their committee is going to look for companies who, you know, show diversity, right? And so they're going to look for not just a florist, but a minority or women-owned florist or local florist because there's going to be eyes watching to make sure that any event that happens here in LA has a good showing of diversity. So keep that in mind. Well, finally, we have Layla Lee, who's with the mayor's office, and she will be sharing with us just a ton of resources that that you can take advantage of. Layla immigrated from Brazil during her teens, and she went to the Pasadena Art Center. And on top of that, not just an artist, she also has her master's in public policy from USC. She worked with the Board of Supervisors at the county level, city council, owned several businesses, both online and brick and mortar business. And she has a passion for small businesses because she knows what it's like to be a business owner. She has experienced it all. So welcome, Layla.
Thank you, Hannah. And I'll go a little fast through my presentation just because I want to make sure that we have enough time for Q&A. Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Layla Lee. I'm with the Mayor's Office of Economic Development. And as an associate director, my role is really to just advocate for small businesses. And I do tell this to all the different community organizations all the time. If there are issues, please reach out to us because we're here to support you. Next slide, please. So one of the things that I'd like to just go really briefly talk about is really just the mayor's budget, fiscal budget for 21-22. Just because it's, you know, I know some of the things that small businesses are complaining about. It is homeless crisis, for instance. And just to let you know, we are putting $995 million into the homeless crisis. 2013, when Mayor Garcetti just first became mayor, we put in $10 million. Now it's $995 million, almost $1 billion. In addition to that, I just want to add that we are going to start a new, the mayor's office is going to be launching a new initiative called AAPI United. And this initiative is driven by an advisory board of AAPI thought leaders that will focus on developing strategies and a roadmap for providing a greater voice for the LA area, Asian American, Pacific Islander community. We're gonna be launching this event with Albert Chang, who's the CEO of Amazon Studios on Friday, May 21. I will put in the chat the invitation, so you can please join us on that. Next slide, please. So some of the really key items for us as business owners that we should really focus on is 2.5 million for LA Optimize, which I'll look back in later on another slide. Al Fresco, who many of you might be familiar with if you're a restaurant owner, we're putting an additional $1.9 million to help businesses expand outdoors. We are launching a comeback checks grants, $5,000 to pay off your debt, new equipment, payroll, rent, whatever your needs are. I believe we're probably going to be launching it sometime in July. So please be on the lookout for that. And another thing we do have is $5 million for tourism marketing efforts and $1.3 million to help street vendors. Next slide, please. And just some other things that we are working on. We are trying to cut processing times by 90%. If you're a restaurant, just to secure city approval for an alcohol permit and cut costs all over for permitting. We are also trying to suspend valid and off-site parking requirements. And we are also trying to adopt some emergency zoning code amendments that will really help small businesses open and continue operations throughout the city for a lot less cost. Next slide, please. And one of the things, if you are a business right now that has really endured financial, difficulties during the pandemic, I do want to let you know that if you haven't met your business taxes this year, we are launching and adopting an amendment to the city charter that will provide some relief for certain businesses. As of right now, we're going to allow businesses to enter a payment installment agreement with the city. Before it used to be $1,000 minimum, but right now we're lowering it to $300 because we don't want our micro entrepreneurs to be impacted by this. We're also eliminating any interest for monthly business tax installments, and we're extending many of the different business taxes for certain businesses that were closed due to the pandemic, especially if you were a entertainment business, a business with like, like a bowling alley or something that require people to meet in your business. I do hope that you can look forward to this. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So one of the programs that we're launching at the mayor's office, I'm sorry, can you go back once? So one of the, I don't know why, maybe it's my computer that's, okay. So one of the programs that we're launching in the mayor's office is LA Optimize. I don't know if you heard of it, but if you haven't, I hope you can sign up for this. LA Optimize, what we realize is that there are businesses that were left behind due to the digital divide. So what it's doing is really helping for free, completely free, creating or optimizing a business listing. So businesses can be found by their consumers. Obviously, we don't want just people that are around your neighborhood to find you. We want people that you actually can service. We are also optimizing or creating a new website for businesses. We're performing e-commerce audits of each business, and we're also connecting businesses to LA creatives. And that actually provides anything from, if you need repackaging design for your business, if you need a new video for your business, if you need more photography, if you're a fashion business and you need photography, or if you're selling your products on Amazon, and you need to upgrade some of the assets that you have, this program is actually doing for free. So I do encourage you to sign up. And lastly, I just want to say we are also launching our educational programming on June 8th. And every first Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m., we're also going to be having webinar classes for LA Optimize. And what that is really, we entered a partnership with so many of our different corporate partners, such as Google, Facebook, Yelp, etc. And they're going to be providing really one-on-one, like these classes that are specific to your industry, so you can market and grow your business in the digital marketplace. Last slide, next slide. And it's really important. I know Paige kind of touched on this. One of the things that such a great resource in the city of LA is really our business source centers. We have 9 of them, and they provide completely free one-on-one consultations. And that's everything from like marketing to business planning to loan packaging and courses. And I want to put extra emphasis on loan packaging because I've been meeting a lot of different Korean businesses actually that they applied twice for PPP, but they were denied. So I do encourage you to really get in touch with the PACE team and apply right away. Even if you applied with your personal bank, sometimes it's really better to go with a CDFI or someone like PACE or PCR or some of the smaller CDFIs. And I believe PACE is only accepting applications until this Monday. So please, 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 I do implore that everybody really connects with them and apply for these for the PPP. In addition to that, we are also supplementing some of our services. If you are having issues with your debt or credit counseling, we're entering a partnership with Money Management International, so we can provide free support to our small business owners. We're also increasing provision of in-depth legal representation completely for free with our partners at Bezetic. We're also going to be launching some of our exporting of goods webinars and support. And also one-on-one certification assistant is also going to be available through our business source centers. I think on the chat, somebody asked, can you guys provide one-on-one support? And yes, we can. And through our business source centers, they can provide all of it. And again, just a reminder, please register your business right now on labevin.org. Next slide. And this is just like a reminder. By the way, right now the city's actually, we received a donation, the mayor's office actually received a donation of $5 million, over $5 million for, and we're distributing $5,000 for 1,030 businesses. And unfortunately, from I think we already mailed like 800 of them, and only maybe 200 got back to us. So please look into your emails. The city is contacting you. And these businesses are businesses that apply for LA COVID Relief Fund or the microloan, but they never received any assistance. Businesses that were actually eligible. And in addition to that, I just want to add that what we also found through a lot of our different programs is just that such a large percentage of businesses are not getting established. What that means is they're not getting a business license from the city of LA. They're not getting, they're not doing their taxes. So doing those, these are such fundamental assets to your business that please make sure. And just to let you know, in the city of LA, if you owe like less than $100,000, you actually don't have to pay any taxes. So there's no reason not to get your business tax license. And again, comeback grants, they're going to coming in, they're going to be $5,000 grants, and that's going to be available sometime in July or August. And in addition to that, I just want to kind of like remind you, there's also the shutter venues operations grant. That's available. They're giving grants equal to 45% of your gross income. And that's if you're like a live venue operator, live performance arts, museum operator, anything in the entertainment business, you probably qualify. And we also have the restaurant revitalization fund. That one, please run and apply for this if you're a restaurant, or even if you're like just a drinking place or a food place, you have to apply for this, just because it literally pays you whatever amount you lost during the pandemic, minus any PP funding that you received. And it's really up to, I believe it's up to $10 million. So please do apply today. In addition to that, I added some other grants here, just because, I think sometimes right now we're focusing so much on PPP, but there's so much funding available through so many different programs. And especially like the state ones are specifically geared towards people that get denied for funding through, SBA. So please look into that. And obviously the state is launching, I think they're putting another $25 billion into COVID relief grants. So please look into that. Next slide, please. And, I'll share this later with you. I believe they're going to be sharing our slides with you, but there's an array of different resources that are available through the city of LA. Next slide. Next slide. And I just want to say, oh, sorry. These are some of the different partners. Obviously, I kind of mentioned the business source centers that are available, but if you're looking through this list, these are all different partners that offer free business service, free, completely free. And a lot of them have webinars. A lot of them have, they have like resources, free resources. They give one-on-one consultation, mentorships. Even the business incubators that you see on the list, these aside from Goldman Sachs, all of those are things that the city funds them to support small businesses. But what we found that Korean businesses actually don't apply. So we do encourage you to apply, because the amount of assistance that you can actually get from these incubators is like amazing. It's really life-changing. I've seen people go from literally having nothing to becoming $1 million business, just taking advantage of city resources. So please take advantage of this. And that's it for me today.
Wow, that was a lot of information, Leila. And really, come on, businesses, take advantage, look into it and get help, so you can expand your business. Okay, so I think right now we don't have a whole lot of time, but I want to give time to Kitty Pei, who is the procurement supervisor with the General Services Department. She's been there about 13 years, except for the 2 years she was working at DWP. Kitty, can you come on up? And
I am up.
Oh, good. Okay, I could only see
Okay.
it right now. So great. So Kitty, tell us, we talked about the 3 different kind of contracting avenues, and commodities is a big portion of that. So the one thing great about the city is that commodities for council control departments, at least, not including the proprietary, it's centralized in the Department of General Services in the city of LA, not to be confused with Department of General Services in the state. So the city has our own General Services Department. So Kitty, how does a person, get into selling goods with the city of LA?
Hi, everyone. Let me just give you a brief introduction. My name is Kitty Pei, and I am a procurement supervisor at the General Services Department at Supply Services Division. And I appreciate the opportunity. And it's just interesting that I didn't know that this was mainly focusing on Korean businesses, even though I am Chinese, but my mother was actually born and raised in Korea. So I've been to Korea. That's like my second home. So I'm very excited to share with you the opportunity. Hannah, if I may share my screen, I just
Sure.
would like to go over the something very helpful information for the business owners to go on and see what information they could get from the website. Just give me 1 second right here. Okay, so you will be able to get a lot of information from this website, that is gsd.lacd.org. And the procurement is handled by supply services. So if you go into supply services, it gives you the mission statement and the services we provide. And also it gives you the general bidding information if you go into it. It'll give you the general bidding information, general purchasing information, payment services, supplier program. You could get a lot of information from this website. And I believe Hannah had gone over, and also with the other presenter, over and over, that the one thing you'll have to do and know and remember from today's presentation is register on LA Bavin. Okay, and that is where you will be able to find all cities opportunities, including the 3 types: the commodities, procurement, and professional services, and constructions. Now for GSD, supply services, we use an online portal for bidders to submit your bid response. And that is the new Cities New LA VSS site. And so but if you don't remember VSS, you just need to remember, LA Bavin, because we have a link for every opportunity on LA Bavin to lead you to the LA VSS site. And so that's very important, and I just want to reiterate that to you. And if you have any question, you can always contact. The contact information is here. Directly, my name is Kitty Pie. Okay, let me stop sharing. All right, so back to Hannah's question. Yeah, the city's procurement on supply services, we handle all commodity-based purchasing. And for you to be able to get a chance to do business with us is to go to the Bavin, find the opportunity that relates to you, and go to LAVSS and supply your bids online. And we do all kinds of purchase, anything that you can think of for the city. We have 5 commodity groups. That's like Gen Ops and Operations and IT. That's my group. We also have the automotive group that handles all the automotive related purchases and products. Industrial group for all the Hyperion, special chemicals or industrial related products. Public safety, that group handles majority for the LA Fire Department, LA PD's requests, and also the construction maintenance group for anything that's related to construction maintenance. And so we handle all kinds of purchasing, anything you can think of, from furniture to cell phones to computers, IT to office supplies, and anything that very interesting for public works. Like one of the interesting items I can think of is like brief bags for the construction workers that, when they need to relieve themselves. And so there's all kinds of things that we can provide, promotional, anything that you can think of that the cities might be needing. For rec and parks, we purchase a lot of their equipment for their for the parks, for the recreational center, trophies for the program that I have for the communities. So pretty much that's what we do as far as commodity purchases for council control departments. And we also take into account all of the preferences that Karen Son and other presenters have mentioned. And there are $2 amount I'd like you to keep in mind. Is for a small local business, any bids over $100,000 will get a 10% bid preference when we compare and evaluate your bids. And for local businesses, and anything over $150,000, you get 8% preference, like the Karen Sun had mentioned. So again, we strongly encourage you to apply for the certification, and you must be a city certified, either SLB, small local business, or a small business before you will be able to get these preferences. And so, did I say too much, Hannah?
Oh, that's so good. That's good. And I had no idea your mom was from Korea. That's amazing. So this is purely like a Korean American.
I know. Yeah.
That's so good. You never know, right? You never
Right.
know how things lead. The other thing, I mean, all of you panel members, you can come back online now because we have just very limited time for Q&A. And but I think just, you know, if somebody has like an amazing product, right? Like they came across some you know, maybe I think one of the questions was like a wonderful ergonomic chair that they want to introduce to the city. How do they even bring it up to you know, purchasing agents?
Okay, interesting enough, our ergonomic chair contract is expiring, so we will be issuing a solicitation that, and you will see that on Bavin. So again, please register on that. Now, if you have something that's special relating to ergonomic furniture, then I can refer to you, the city's personnel department ergonomic specialist. You're welcome to contact her and introduce your product to her, and she will keep that in mind. And whenever she needs anything that's relating to what you can provide, she'll contact you. And also, again, you're welcome to email me directly, and I can provide you with the information to the city's ergonomic specialist, also to the city's GSD's safety engineer, who also handles all the ergonomic needs.
Wow. So this is invaluable. I you know, a lot of times we have these events and people like go away thinking, oh, I should, you know, reach out, and you never do. So listen up. You have all these amazing contacts, and do your homework, reach out. If you're stuck, talk to Diana and she'll guide you. But you know, you have to do your homework. And so Diana, is there any particular question that you would you want to ask the panels? I mean, I just had a quick question to Irene. Let's say one of our attendees lands a contract, and yay, you know, they have a contract with the city. What can they do to improve their chances of getting paid on time?
So in order to receive prompt payment, you have to make sure to provide the city with complete and accurate information. Our office encourages vendors to use VSS. Kitty just mentioned it, vendor self-service, to create and update their information for accuracy. Also, we encourage vendors to sign up for ACH, Automated Clearinghouse. ACH payments are electronic fund transfer from one bank to another. With regard to invoice, city requires the specific information be included on every invoice submitted for the payment. Failure to include this information will delay the payment process. When submitting invoice, please make sure your invoice clearly states which task order, contract, or project the invoice is for. For commodity, the purchase order number must be referenced on the invoice. The invoice should match the term on the contract. Any discrepancy will cause payment delay. Also, please make sure to send your invoice to the right person. In addition to providing accurate and complete information, city requires that every vendor doing business with the city obtain BTRC. Payment not complying with this requirement will be delayed until the information is provided. I hope this information helps.
Yeah, no, BTRC, oh my, that's such an important piece out of Office of Finance. You have to be registered with the city as a BTRC stands for Business Tax Registration Certificate. You have to have one of those to even get paid. So make sure you are registered with the Office of Finance. Diana, it's noon. Do we have to cut off or can we have a few more questions?
I think it would be great that we could have more giving up the question from the clients, people who
Okay.
attended today. I found the one great question. The question says, how do business owners know that their bid was too high? Do city policy allow for post-award follow-up?
I have an
Commodity.
answer for that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lisa. You first.
Well, for LAWA anyways, on all of our bids, we have a bid sheet, a spec sheet, and it becomes public knowledge for anybody who bid, or if you go into Bavin and look at that bid, there's a spreadsheet and it'll compare the final cost for each vendor that bid on that.
Yeah, for GSD commodity bids, you are allowed to request for bid recap, and you can actually find the information on LAVSS. When our bid is awarded, you will find the information. The bid recap will be available on LAVSS. Now, if you don't find it, you can always email the procurement analyst, the buyer, and request for a copy of the bidder recap.
So there is no citywide policy. The recommendation would be contacted departments directly. Each department have their own operations in terms of procurement. Again, as Kitty said, if you're doing commodities, contact, again, go to the bidding, the department that issued the solicitation, and they'll be able to do that, provide information.
Great. Go ahead, Diana.
And the second question I picked is, does City of LA check DMB rating for bidders? Challenges for small business is the recurring fee DMB charges, mainly high rating.
Oh, Dun and Bradstreet rating? Rating? Oh, okay. Feel free, anyone, to respond to that.
Well, GSD does not require that. We do not check the DMB, the Dun & Bradstreet.
Neither does LAWA.
LADWP does check DMB ratings for new vendors if you've not done business with us within 5 years, but only for contracts over $1 million. But you know what, if it's, we don't need a high rating, we just don't want a high risk or very low rating. So you don't have to have perfect ratings.
Great. Thank you. Diana?
And another question I picked is, how often renew the professional contract, for example, janitorial service?
For services contract on janitorial services, okay, so GSD, we handle janitorial products. We do not handle janitorial services. That will be handled by the custodial group at GSD. And I'm sorry, Diana, the question is how do they introduce themselves to be?
No, how long are the contracts?
Oh, how long are the contract? That would be a question for custodial. I believe that all city professional service contracts are 3 years, correct?
Correct. Typically 3 years with some amendments that can extend it, but they usually go through a 3-year cycle. Mm-hmm.
All contracts are public record. If you go to the city clerk's website, they have a portal where you can research public contracts. So if you're looking to the details of the contracts, the terms, amendments, if you go to, I'll put the link in the chat, but there is a clerk website where you can research via the name of the vendor or a description of the contract, and they should be able to pull up the contract the city currently has. I'll share that with you in just a moment.
This is such an important information, everyone. You can go to the city clerk's website and look up former contracts. And this is part of your homework that you need to do. You need to know what you're up against next time when the opportunity comes up. Find out what the terms and conditions of the contract were and what the city was looking for. So that was, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Andrew, because this is really, really helpful.
I do want to put a caveat though, that these are attested contracts. They're slightly different. There's a couple different types of contracts in the city. LAWA, POLA, DWP contracts are held by their departments. The city clerk website does not have it. Commodity contracts that GSD issues are not in the city clerk's website as well. So if you're looking for DWP, LAWA, POLA contracts, you could want to contact the departments directly. attested contracts, which are professional services contract, and construction contracts will be in the clerk's website. I do want to create that differentiation. The goal of what the city is trying to do, creating a centralized portal with a lot of our contracting and procurement data, will eventually go in a direction in housing all this information, but right now is differentiated. But again, to what was said earlier, the contracts are public record, and you have, as a public, have entitled to see the scopes of the contract itself.
So I want to just follow on Andrew's, what he just said. For LAWA contracts, it is also the same. The Board of Airport Commissioners, they meet twice a month, and all of our agendas are posted online on lawa.org. All of our award contracts, even amendments, anything that exceeds $150,000 or 1 year, you can see who got the contract. You can see, why they chose it. It's just a narrative. You might find that kind of information. So if you want to start researching, you could also, and this is all public information, as Andrew said, it's available on lawa.org.
And we have another question. It's related to LA Bevan. If I'm already registered on the Bevan website, will my information automatically transfer over at the end of the summer, or will I need to be registered again?
So with the transition into new system, all current registries and new registries until we do transition will transition over. Something that we will be launching as we move into the regional platform is that we will be opening you to be able to create a profile yourself. It's not just going to ask you base information, but it'll give you a space to actually do a lot of self-introduction. Because something the system is going to allow you to do is also communicate with other private businesses. And we're developing on the great work BCA has done with the business inclusion program. We're taking it a step further now, working with BCA to make sure it is truly a social network of agencies and organizations and companies that's been in our platform. We're gonna work towards how to get you connected to other people, because if anything that we've learned is that the most successful BIPs, the business inclusion program, is when communication is free flowing and well maintained, and that's what we're trying to facilitate. So yes, the new profile will be created. You will not be required to re-register, but it's going to be opened up where more information you can include more information, such as some demographic information, right? Right now, if you have a minority business, if you're a minority business enterprise, you have an MBE certification. It doesn't delineate even further. You don't have a breakdown. I'm Asian American, I'm Black American, I'm Latino American, I'm of Hispanic descent or not. Like these questions are not really asked right now, and those questions will be further asked so that we can start generating more metrics around the successes of the programs that the city has. I know I spoke really quickly on that. There's going to be a lot more information on the regional platform. And if Diana, if you could share me the email address registers here, we will add them to our list of information, list of individuals to receive information as we launch and provide more information. If you could get me that email list, I'll be happy to share it with everyone.
That would be great.
I'm sorry. Oh. I also wanted to jump back onto the question about the janitorial services that came up. How often do those come up? And as Kitty mentioned, the city and most proprietary departments, we handle our custodial services in-house. So we may not really contract out those services. However, as I mentioned, airport is kind of special. There might be certain terminals, for example, Bradley, the international terminal, where some of our tenants, like for example, the airlines that are renting, may want extra janitorial service just because there's high passenger volume and they want to make sure it gets cleaned every half hour. So we might have supplemental needs, and those things I can't even really unpack it here, but you just have to get registered on Bevan and be just aware of who the players are and maybe get involved and network with those contractors. So there's opportunity. It might be very small if it's like, say, for example, janitorial, but there is a slim chance it's possible. So I do want to continue encouraging you, even though you're like, oh, the city already handles this in-house, so maybe they don't really need it. But there might be small areas where your services are needed. And just to mention how these world stage events are coming to town, it'll be seasonal. It won't be ongoing. So we are not going to hire 10,000 city employees to do some of these things. So, be on the lookout. You might be needed, maybe not for the city, but for some of these events that are coming up.
Just to add quickly to that, the link I sent you with the city clerk, I typed in the word janitorial. I see a copy of the contract that's expiring June 2021. So this year, there's an $11 million janitorial service contract that is expiring. So if you go into that website for janitorial services for the council controlled departments, again, there's a differentiation. Proprietary departments, Lawa Pola DWP manages and controls their operations independently. The council controlled departments are the service contracts like janitorial. If you type in keywords, you're going to be able to pull up the most current contracts on the platform, on the system, and you can review. To what Hannah's saying, research is key here. Understanding where to go, understanding what to read. You'll also see in the contracts the standard provisions, and I want to heavily recommend everyone review the standard provisions, because there are attestation there's indemnification requirements, there's insurance requirements. These components you should be familiar and understand as you go into contracting with the city. Some of these requirements have certain thresholds, right? The city is trying to mitigate as much risk as possible. We're not, contracts must ensure two things: that the city is receiving a service and the vendors are providing the service pursuant to what is limiting liability. So go through a sample of the contract, type in any keyword, look up a contract, read through it, get an understanding of what you would be expected to do as a city contractor, not necessarily what the city can do for you. So it's going to be a dual relationship. It's a parallel relationship, and we want to ensure that vendors wanting to be part of city contracting understands what they're getting into. I think we've all mentioned this in very different ways, but the expectations, there's two levels of expectations, and one is that the vendors have a long, a good track record and is insured and able to do, as I think Karen said, be able to do what you're offering to do. And that's something that's very important, because if you're not able to finish the contract becomes void, and it hurts both us and your business when we have to cancel a contract due to the incompleteness of services.
Great.
We're still getting a lot of questions from the Q&A boxes. I'm sorry, everyone. Lack of time. I might have to pick only one last question so far right now. And yeah, we have another question and asking, contracting with the city is only for opportunity with this business in city of Los Angeles, because this client located in Orange County, and we have several clients also having a headquarters in Korea, which is called foreign. We could seen as a foreign country. Would there be a chance to having foreign country to join the contract with the city of Los Angeles?
Sure. Anybody is open to bidding with the city of LA. They just have to make sure they're registered. They have a BTRC with the city of LA, and be able to respond to the expectations of the contract. So, you know, the local business, the various certifications give you an edge, give you a preference, but the city does not limit participation by any company, for sure.
Hannah, a quick question. I think, do they need a mailing address in the US, right? Or is it international mailing address? I don't remember that exactly.
Oh, I do not know. We have foreign companies participate, but you're right. Maybe they do have offices here, but it doesn't have to be in the city or the county. It could be anywhere in the country. And if the company is big enough, I'm sure they have some presence here. So, yeah.
We have received responses from foreign countries, and there's no limitation. They don't have to have an office. The only challenge that we have is on payment. So normally we ask them to give us like a lockbox here so we can mail the payment to, instead of mailing all the way to China. Because before we had a contract for promotional products, and you'll be surprised, the promotional products from Chinese bidders, they're like a third of the price that we can get it from here. So we encourage the department to submit their responses as soon as possible, because submit their requests as soon as possible, because coming from overseas does take time. But that will be the only challenges. So if we do need some rushes, then the foreign country might not be able to participate. But on the other hand, if we don't have a rush, there's no rush or limitation on the delivery day, then yes, of course, there's no limitation.
Great.
You're welcome to respond.
And several attendees asking questions about how they could introduce their products, which is not common. Would there be capability statement would be great resource to part of the marketing their products?
Introducing products it's a challenge. Like I say, if I know a special, like for the ergonomic part of it, then I could introduce the city's ergonomic specialist. As far as like I saw one of the questions about janitorial products, the only thing I could think of is just to check the Bevan and see if you could just respond to what we need, because a lot of time a city has a certain requirement, and there are times that we do not allow substitute for alternates for what we have spec'd out. So yes, we welcome you introducing your products. However, my best suggestion is to respond, check on the Bevan and respond to whatever the specification calls for.
You know, you can submit capability statements. I know the way it works is it's the user. We don't, the procurement office doesn't create the specification or the bid. We get the request from the people who actually use the product. So the city's such a big entity, you kind of have to target your marketing toward the people who are actually going to use it. So if it's a janitorial, let's say it's a truck or something, or some kind of special trash can that picks up by itself, you have to kind of figure out who in the city is doing that kind of work, and then send your capabilities and introduce your product to those people who are the users. Or if it's something like a forklift, you have to go out to where's the city warehouse, who's the ones that's operating using that, because they're the ones that are going to initiate the request for some sort of purchase. And if they can see that there's something great out there, and you can introduce your product to the user, they will say, well, you know what? It doesn't have to be the standard 4-wheel forklift. It could be the special 3-wheel forklift that would be acceptable on the bid. And then we would put out the bid specification like that. So I guess the challenge is trying to find who in the city is actually going to be interested in your product.
So I just posted a link. It's MyLA 311. That is a tool set you can use to do research on contact information and kind of get a better understanding of what department manages what services, what you're trying to get to. Again, this won't necessarily house the proprietary departments, but if we're talking specific bureaus, right, sanitation, engineering, street lighting, street services, or even departments, administrative departments like Office of Finance, City Clerk, Office, Controller's Office. If you're looking for this kind of information, it's available on MyLA 311, where you can try to get contact information. One thing I've been getting recently from vendors is straight up cold calling. They're cold calling to see who they can see, who they can connect with. And from my experience, from what I've been able to do is a lot of city departments, a lot of city employees are receptive. They'll take a 30-minute call. If they're available, they'll take a 30-minute call. They'll take a 15-minute call with you, talk to you, and see, give you what they can provide. They might not be able to give you specific information on future opportunities, but they can give you information on the current vendor, the current contractor, the current types of services that we're procuring for, what the city employees are doing directly, what they're contracting out, that kind of information. Again, it's all public record, and they're able to share that information with you.
Wow. Thanks, Andrew. I'm learning. Even during this presentation, I'm like, wow, I never thought to call 311 to get that information, but he's right. He's absolutely right. There's a bunch of resources for you to prepare. Does that wrap up our time, Diana?
Yeah, I think we're better. Yeah, we
Okay.
passed 24 minutes already. Yes.
So Diana is going to have all these resources available to all of you attendees who've hung in there all this time. I don't know how many of you are still here, but the resources will be available. Contact information will be available. And I just want to invite all of you, when you go on the Bobbin page, there's that Accessing LA Team With event. So I'm volunteering again next week for that event. So if you'd like to join us, it's mainly focused on professional services, engineering and IT and that type of purchasing. So join us next week, Wednesday and Thursday. The information will be there. And Lighting the Way videos, we'll put them up every 2 months or so, new videos. So make sure you subscribe to the Lighting the Way channel so you can receive, very informational videos on contracting, how to do business with the city. So 감사합니다. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'll turn it over to, will it be Diana closing out?
Yes. Sorry everyone for the delay. All this. If you didn't get the question today, please send email to me. I'll try my best to answer all the questions that you sent to me through email. And thank you very much, Hannah, Andrew, Irene, Karin, Lisa, and Layla, and also our special guest, Kitty Pei, for an interesting talk and sharing great information. I'm very proud to knowing all senior Korean leaders. With your support, Korean businesses can get opportunity to work with the city of Los Angeles. And thank you for attending our second annual procurement conference today. And today's video file and PPT slides will be posted on the Korean Council Office website. If you couldn't answer all the questions again during the events, email me and I will respond to your question. And thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. 수고
감사합니다.
많으셨습니다. 수고하셨습니다.
감사합니다.
Great job.